Imagine this. You wake up one morning and discover a truth you never thought you'd face. The one person you trusted most, the one you gave your heart and loyalty to, has betrayed you. The ground beneath you cracks. Your world feels upside down. Questions swirl in your mind. Why me? Was I not enough? What happens now? Cheating is more than just a broken promise. It's an earthquake in the soul, shaking your sense of worth, your trust in love, and your vision of the future. Most people react with rage, despair, or revenge. But today, I want to take you on a different path. A path guided by the wisdom of the Stoics, the ancient philosophers who endured wars, exile, and betrayal, yet found inner peace no matter the storm. If you've been cheated on or fear you might be, this message is for you. And I promise, if you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with not just healing, but strength. Welcome to today's reflection on 10 things to do if your partner is cheating in your relationship. This is not about quick tricks or emotional games. This is about rebuilding your soul, reclaiming your worth, and learning how to respond with wisdom instead of weakness. Before we dive in, I have a quick request. If you value timeless wisdom and practical guidance to navigate life's hardest storms, make sure to subscribe to this channel right now. And as you listen, I invite you to comment below. Share your thoughts, your struggles, or even your victories. You never know whose life you might touch by speaking your truth. Alright, let's begin this journey with strength. 1. Pause before reaction. The first instinct after discovering betrayal is to react immediately. Some scream, some cry, some throw things, others beg or demand answers. But as Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is where your healing begins. Not in your partner's actions, not in their apologies or excuses, but in your ability to control yourself in the first moment of pain. When you pause before reacting, you're not ignoring the wound, you're preserving your dignity. Because once words leave your mouth in rage, they cannot be taken back. Once desperate pleas are made, they cannot be unseen. As soon as you sense betrayal or confirm it, step away. Literally. Go outside. Take a walk. Disconnect from your phone for at least a few hours. If you can, take an entire day. Create a space between the pain and your response. Deep reflection questions. What exactly am I feeling right now? Anger, sadness, humiliation, or fear of losing control? Which of these emotions belong to me? And which are simply echoes of my partner's actions? If I respond right now, will my actions reflect my values or my wounds? The Stoics believed the first battle is always internal. By pausing, you win that battle. You prove to yourself that while you cannot control betrayal, you can control how you meet it. That is the first step to reclaiming your power. 2. Face the truth without denial. The temptation after betrayal is denial. To tell yourself, it's just a mistake. Maybe it's not what it looks like. Maybe they still love me. But the Stoics warn us that denial is nothing but self-imprisonment. Epictetus wrote, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you refuse to accept what happened, you cannot respond to it. Betrayal hurts, but it hurts far worse when you pretend it isn't real. Think of a soldier who refuses to admit the enemy is approaching. Does his denial keep him safe? No, it only leaves him unprepared. The same is true for you. If you deny the betrayal, you remain unprepared to protect yourself and your dignity. Take out a notebook. Write down exactly what you know. List the facts. The messages you saw, the words you heard, the behavior you observed. Separate facts from assumptions. For example, a fact might be, I saw them texting someone romantically. An assumption might be, they never loved me. Your goal is clarity, not exaggeration. Deep reflection questions. Am I clinging to denial because the truth feels unbearable? If a close friend were in my position, would I advise them to deny reality, or to face it with courage? What strength might I gain by staring directly at the truth? The Stoics taught that the truth, no matter how harsh, is always better than comforting lies. Denial keeps you chained. Truth sets you free to act. 3. Guard your self-worth. Perhaps the deepest wound of cheating is not the betrayal itself, but the questions it plants in your heart. Am I not good enough? Was I lacking something? If I were more attractive, more successful, more attentive, would this have happened? This is the most dangerous trap, because once you believe betrayal defines your worth, you hand over your identity to another person's choices. But Seneca reminds us, no man can rob us of our best possession, our character. Your partner's betrayal says more about them than it does about you. Their weakness, their lack of discipline, their failure to honor love, these belong to them, not to you. Your worth is not measured by someone else's loyalty. Stand in front of a mirror every morning. Look directly into your eyes and affirm, my value is not reduced by another's actions. I remain whole, strong, and worthy of love. I am defined by my virtues, not by someone else's betrayal. It may feel strange at first, but repetition rewires the mind. Deep reflection questions, am I defining myself by another's failures, or by my own virtues? If I see myself as unworthy because of this betrayal, whose story am I living, mine or theirs? What would happen if I chose to root my identity in my strength, not in their weakness? When you guard your self-worth, you build a fortress around your soul. The betrayal may sting, but it cannot destroy you, because you refuse to let another person decide your value. These first 3 steps, pausing before reaction, facing the truth, and guarding your self-worth, are the foundation of handling betrayal with Stoic strength. Without them, every decision you make will be clouded by denial, desperation, or despair. But with them, you stand firmly, unshaken, ready for the next steps in your journey. Remember, healing doesn't begin with your partner. It begins with you, your choices, your thoughts, your courage. In the next part, we'll go even deeper, uncovering how to seek clarity instead of revenge, how to control what you can while releasing what you cannot, and how to set boundaries with calm authority. These lessons will give you not just peace, but power. In part 1, we uncovered the foundation of responding to betrayal with Stoic strength. We learned to pause before reaction, to face the truth without denial, and to guard our self-worth. These steps keep your mind steady in the midst of emotional chaos. Now we move to the next stage, where clarity replaces revenge, where calm authority replaces fear, and where boundaries become shields of dignity rather than walls of bitterness. 4. Seek clarity, not revenge. When you discover betrayal, your blood burns with the thought of retaliation. The mind screams, if they hurt me, I'll hurt them back. Some cheat in return. Some humiliate their partner publicly. Some dive into toxic games just to prove they still have power. But Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. If your partner betrayed you, it is because they lacked discipline, integrity, and honor. Why would you copy their weakness? To mirror their failure is to join them in their disgrace. Instead of revenge, seek clarity. Ask, why did this happen? What does it reveal about them? What does it reveal about me? And what does it reveal about the relationship we created together? When your emotions cool, schedule a calm conversation. Do not enter with weapons. Enter with questions. Sit with your partner and say, I need honesty, not excuses. Tell me what happened and why. Was this a moment of weakness, or has this been a pattern? What was missing in this relationship from your perspective? You may not like the answers, but clarity gives you the power to make an informed decision, rather than an impulsive one. Deep reflection questions. Am I seeking revenge because I think it will restore my pride? Will revenge truly make me stronger, or will it chain me to the very person who hurt me? What freedom might I gain if I seek truth instead of retaliation? The Stoics believed revenge ties you to your enemy, while wisdom frees you from them. Your goal is not to destroy them, it is to rebuild yourself. 5. Control what you can, release what you cannot. One of the central teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus wrote, some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, but not our body, property, reputation, or command. If we think that what is not our own is our own, we shall be hindered. In the aftermath of cheating, many people waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. They obsess over their partner's phone. They demand promises of loyalty. They stalk social media watching every move. But no matter how hard you grip, you cannot control another person's choices. What you can control is yourself. Your thoughts, your responses, your boundaries, your healing. Take a piece of paper. Draw 2 circles. Label the first, what I can control. Label the second, what I cannot control. In the first circle, write, my thoughts, my actions, my choices, my self-care, my dignity. In the second circle, write, their past actions, their excuses, their loyalty, their guilt or lack of it, the opinions of others. Look at these 2 circles daily. Every time your mind spirals into, what are they doing right now? Bring yourself back. That belongs to the second circle. It is not mine to carry. Deep reflection questions. Am I exhausting myself trying to control what belongs to someone else? What would my life feel like if I focused only on the first circle? How much strength would I reclaim by releasing what I cannot control? The Stoics taught that peace belongs to those who know what is theirs and what is not. Betrayal steals enough from you. Do not let it also steal your focus. 6. Decide on boundaries with calm authority. Once betrayal is revealed, the relationship cannot continue as if nothing happened. Trust is fractured, and without boundaries, pain will repeat itself. But boundaries must not be born of rage or desperation. They must be drawn with calm authority, rooted in dignity. Seneca reminds us, no man is free who is a slave to his passions. If you let passion alone decide, you may either lash out with ultimatums you cannot enforce, or cling desperately with no standards at all. True boundaries come from self-respect, not emotion. Take time alone to write down your non-negotiables. Ask yourself, what must be true for this relationship to continue? What actions or behaviors are absolutely unacceptable? If these lines are crossed again, what consequence will I enforce? Examples of boundaries. If there is no full honesty, this relationship cannot continue. If they remain in contact with the affair partner, I will walk away. If I see repeated betrayal, I will no longer sacrifice my dignity to stay. Once boundaries are written, communicate them clearly, without rage or pleading. Speak with the calm authority of someone who knows their worth. Deep reflection questions. Are my boundaries protecting my dignity, or are they attempts to control someone else? Would I advise my best friend to set these same standards? Am I prepared to enforce these boundaries, even if it means walking away? Boundaries are not punishments. They are shields. They protect your soul from further harm. When set with calm authority, they transform chaos into clarity. We have now taken the next 3 steps on the Stoic path through betrayal. Seek clarity, not revenge. Control what you can, release what you cannot. Set boundaries with calm authority. These steps are about reclaiming your personal power. Betrayal tries to make you powerless, like you're at the mercy of someone else's choices. But Stoicism reminds us that dignity, wisdom, and freedom always remain in your control. In the next part, we will explore how solitude strengthens you, how to seek wise counsel instead of gossip, and how to begin transforming pain into growth. These lessons will prepare you not just to survive betrayal, but to rise above it. So far, we've built a foundation of resilience. In part 1, we learned to pause before reacting, to face the truth, and to protect our self-worth. In part 2, we sought clarity instead of revenge, embraced control only over what belongs to us, and set boundaries with calm authority. Now, we move into the inner work, discovering how solitude can strengthen rather than destroy us, and how seeking wise counsel can guide us when the heart is clouded by pain. 7. Strengthen the self through solitude. Betrayal often leaves you feeling hollow. The one you leaned on is no longer trustworthy. The bond you thought was unbreakable has been shattered. And suddenly, the silence of being alone feels unbearable. But the Stoics remind us that solitude is not a punishment, it is a sanctuary. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. There is nowhere that a man can find a more peaceful and trouble-free retreat than in his own soul. Solitude is where you rediscover your own company. It is where you realize that your identity is not dependent on another person's presence. When you choose solitude, you are not abandoned. You are rebuilding. Plan a weekend retreat for yourself. If possible, go somewhere close to nature, a quiet park, a hiking trail, or even a cabin by a lake. Leave behind the noise of social media and the chaos of your phone. Take only a notebook, a book of wisdom, and yourself. Spend the days journaling, meditating, and reflecting. Ask yourself questions you've been avoiding. Allow the silence to become your teacher. Deep reflection questions. Am I afraid of being alone because I've neglected the relationship I should have with myself? What strengths or passions have I lost in this relationship that I can now rediscover in solitude? If solitude is not emptiness, but space for growth, how can I use it to rebuild my strength? Solitude is the furnace in which strength is forged. It strips away noise and distraction, leaving only the essence of who you are. When you learn to stand strong in your own company, betrayal loses its power to break you. 8. Seek wise counsel, not gossip. In moments of pain, the temptation is to share your story with everyone, to vent to friends, to post on social media, to tell the world how unfairly you've been treated. But this only breeds gossip, pity, and noise. The Stoics warn against scattering your pain into careless hands. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, seek humility. Choose to confide in the wise, not the crowd. Gossip may give you momentary relief, but wise counsel gives you true direction. Select one or two people you deeply trust. This may be a mentor, a longtime friend, a spiritual advisor, or even the words of ancient philosophers written centuries ago. Share your story not for validation, but for wisdom. Ask them, "What do you see in this situation that I may be blind to? What wisdom can you offer me as I make my decision?" Then listen. Truly listen. Resist the urge to defend, to explain, or to complain. Let their perspective stretch yours. Deep reflection questions. Am I seeking advice to heal, or am I seeking attention to feed my wounded pride? If I flood my story into gossip, am I strengthening myself or weakening myself? Whose words in my life have consistently led me toward wisdom? And why am I not leaning on them more deeply now? The Stoics remind us that the crowd rarely offers truth. They offer only noise. But the wise, the few, can guide you to see beyond your hurt and into the path of growth. At this stage, the work becomes deeply personal. Strength through solitude teaches you that you are never abandoned, for you always carry yourself. Seeking wise counsel reminds you that not all voices deserve your attention. Only those that elevate your soul, not those that feed your ego. As you walk this path, you begin to notice something powerful. Betrayal, though painful, cannot control you unless you hand it your will. In solitude, you reclaim your center. In counsel, you refine your perspective. In part 4, we will reach the final stage of this journey. We'll discuss how to choose growth over bitterness, and how to embrace freedom and future possibility. These last steps will show you not only how to survive betrayal, but how to transform it into the very fire that strengthens your destiny. We've walked a difficult but powerful path together. In part 1, we paused before reacting, faced the truth, and guarded our self-worth. In part 2, we rejected revenge, embraced control only over what is ours, and set boundaries with calm authority. In part 3, we found strength in solitude and sought wise counsel over empty gossip. Now, in this final part, we rise beyond survival. We move from healing wounds to reclaiming freedom. These last 2 steps, choosing growth over bitterness and embracing the possibility of a new future, are not just about recovery. They are about transformation. 9. Choose growth over bitterness. Cheating is a fork in the road. One path leads to bitterness, anger, resentment, a heart hardened to love. The other path leads to growth, wisdom, strength, clarity, and a soul that has been tested but not broken. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Pain is not pleasant, but it is a powerful teacher. Betrayal can sharpen your understanding of people, strengthen your sense of self, and deepen your appreciation for loyalty when you encounter it again. But only if you choose growth. Bitterness, on the other hand, traps you in the past. It chains you to the memory of betrayal. Every day becomes another reliving of the wound. At the end of each day, write one lesson this betrayal has taught you. Examples. I have learned that ignoring red flags leads to pain later. I now see that my worth does not depend on anyone's loyalty. I have discovered strength I did not know I had. Over time, you'll build a journal of growth. Proof that even in pain, you evolved. Deep reflection questions. Am I letting bitterness poison me, or am I allowing growth to refine me? What virtues, patience, self-respect, resilience, are emerging from this hardship? If I choose growth today, what kind of person will I become tomorrow? The Stoics believed that adversity is the training ground of virtue. This betrayal, if met with wisdom, can become the fire that forges the best version of you. 10. Embrace freedom and future possibility. The final step is to reclaim your freedom. Cheating may feel like an ending, but Stoicism teaches us that every ending is also a beginning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Betrayal is not just something that happened to you. It is something that can happen for you if you let it redirect your path. Freedom means releasing what cannot be rebuilt. It means no longer clinging to what was broken. It means walking away with dignity if trust cannot be restored, or if both partners choose to rebuild with full honesty and effort. Freedom also means entering that rebuilding process with clear eyes and new strength. But either way, freedom is yours to claim. Write a letter to your future self, 6 months from now, or even a year. Describe the person you will be. Not bitter, not broken, but wiser, stronger, and freer. Seal it. Keep it somewhere safe. Revisit it when you feel tempted to despair. Deep reflection questions. What kind of future do I want to build now that I see the truth? How will my choices today shape my freedom tomorrow? If betrayal redirected me to a better path, how will I honor that opportunity? Your future is not tied to their betrayal. Your future is tied to your courage. Freedom is not a gift another person grants you. It is a decision you make for yourself. If your partner is cheating, it may feel like the world has ended. But Stoicism teaches us that the world never ends with betrayal. It simply changes shape. Let us remember the 10 things we have learned on this journey. 1. Pause before reaction. 2. Face the truth without denial. 3. Guard your self-worth. 4. Seek clarity, not revenge. 5. Control what you can, release what you cannot. 6. Decide on boundaries with calm authority. 7. Strengthen the self through solitude. 8. Seek wise counsel, not gossip. 9. Choose growth over bitterness. 10. Embrace freedom and future possibility. Each of these is not just a step in healing, they are lessons in living. Betrayal may wound your heart, but it cannot touch your mind unless you surrender it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is your anchor. That is your guide. And that is your path forward." If this message resonated with you, I invite you now. Subscribe to this channel for more wisdom. Leave a comment below sharing your reflections or your story, and share this video with someone who needs strength today. Remember this always: betrayal is not your end, it is your beginning.